Hey everybody, welcome to the PixelBlips podcast for December 1st, 2013. I almost said 2014. It's good that I almost said 2014 because I'm going to be picking that up for like the next 5 months.
Yeah.
Saying 2013 when it should be 2014. I'm your Mighty Marvel co-host, Andy Ryan. Joining me as always is the despicable scourge of New York, Dave DeWart. Dave, you and I have been playing the same game this week.
Yeah. We've both been putting some time into Lego Marvel.
Excelsior! I'm a huge Marvel fan, if you haven't picked that up over past shows.
After a year and change.
I feel that DC Comics, while they have their bright spots, are by and large bad overall. Like there are bright spots. And when I say bright spots, there are hallowed story runs on Superman, and Batman, and Wonder Woman, and Green Lantern, and all the other superheroes that are awesome and excellent. However, those are the exceptions that prove the rule. If you read the month-to-month stuff, it is bad. Whereas Marvel is much clearer, like, this is a bad storyline, it is not going well, we are canceling this book.
See,
That's the one thing Marvel's...
I'm not the comic book connoisseur that Andy is. So
Marvel's books get canceled at the drop of a hat.
I don't
read
comic books. I like the movies. I like the ideas of the superheroes, and
I have a Marvel Archive subscription, so I can just go online whenever I want and read back issues.
I want to see what happened in Spider-Man #6.
Yeah, and I'm not up to date on all the new stuff because I can't buy comic books anymore because I'm married and.
You could.
Well, when my wife.
But then you might not be married anymore.
Yeah, I remember like the first time my wife and I were married, and I was like, good, we have some money, I can go back to buy my normal comic books. And she was like, you do realize you spend over $300 a month on comic books? I was like, well, yeah. She was like, no.
You could get like two. You know,
yeah,
just like two.
But that's the thing. Like I'd go about once every 2 weeks, and then I would get them, and I would always get like a few core titles: Amazing Spider-Man, Avengers, whatever. I was never a big X-Men guy, but X-Men always seemed to end up in the there's a new run on this. I read about this new run, and I'm going to start buying this run because it's by Matt Fraction, who I like, or it's by
whichever
Jason Aaron, or Mark Bagley is doing Fantastic Four for the next 3 months. I want to buy it because I like Mark Bagley's art. My favorite one of those, it was off the one time when we were in high school, I just off the cuff I bought because it was $1. Fantastic Four relaunched, written by Mark Waid and Mike Waringo, drawn by Mark Waringo, and that ended up being my favorite run of Fantastic Four comic books ever. And keep in mind, when I say $300 a month in comic books, I'm also buying trades. I would always buy trades if I liked. It didn't matter if I had all of the runs of the comic book.
You want the big one that has it all in one big box.
Yeah.
One big book.
I remember one time because I have the whole Mark Waringo, Mike Waid, Mike Waringo run of Fantastic Four, which is a sizable amount of comic books. And then I bought the hardback editions. And my wife was like, why did you do that?
Don't you own this already?
$60 a pop. And I was like, yeah, but there's like director commentary shit in the back, and it's in hardbound, so I can have it.
And it's awesome, and I'm a collector, and wait.
Yeah, so she bought me a Marvel Archive subscription. So anyway, all that to tell you, I'm a huge Marvel fan.
Marvel. And my wife actually likes the Marvel
People always ask me
stuff
like
better than I do.
My top 10 superheroes in this order. Ready? So we got number 1 is Spider-Man. That's a given.
Yeah.
Number 2 is the Human Torch. He is my favorite member of the Fantastic Four.
But isn't he dead now?
No, he's alive again. Spoilers.
Why they retcon that? Just leave him dead.
I think Dave probably remembers the day because they announced they were going to kill a member of the Fantastic Four for a long time, and they had, Ben Grimm, the Thing, had been depowered before, and Mr. Fantastic had died before, and Sue Storm had died before. So I kind of knew that they were going to
kill Johnny Storm.
Like, Johnny Storm is my favorite. You can't kill Johnny. He's my favorite guy.
And they killed him.
And I was just like,
those assholes.
I remember one of my friends at the time that also bought comics woke me up that morning and tweeted me. He was like, the Human Torch has been denied a bank loan. And I just sat there shaking for 3 minutes. So anyway, so number 2 is Johnny Storm, the Human Torch. I love him. I feel like he's always been one of my favorite reasons for reading the Fantastic Four. I also liked his solo stuff just because he's really fast with the quips. Next is Thor. I love Thor. I love his arc of being the really stuck-up dude and having everything given to him, and then coming down to earth.
Well, he's a prince, right?
Yeah. So coming down to earth and being, shackled to this lame doctor who just wants to help everybody and figuring out all this stuff through his whole life. As I grow up, there's more and more. Every time I go back and read an old Thor arc, I just find more and more stuff in it that I like. Side story, Straczynski, who wrote one of the seminal runs on Thor, also a seminal run on Spider-Man, also wrote cartoons in the 80s. He wrote He-Man, he wrote The Real Ghostbusters. The other day I was watching The Real Ghostbusters DVD, I saw that he wrote it, I tweeted him on Twitter and said, hey, I really like The Real Ghostbusters, I want to say, I really like Real Ghostbusters, I like what you did on Spider-Man, I like what you did on Thor, I want to say thank you. You were awesome, big part of my childhood without knowing. And he wrote me back and said, thanks, that's really great, thanks for the compliment. What did you like about it? And I was like, boom,
everything.
So it was really cool. He's a really cool guy. That's what I like about comic creators. When you go up and meet them, they're just like they're
pretty mellow.
Yeah, they're nerds like you.
They're lucky. They know they're lucky to have the careers that they have because of guys like you.
Yes, and that's like comic book creators, except for the early '90s, have never really had that rock star moment throughout their entire histories, except in the early '90s.
Yeah.
So they're all kind of pretty much down to earth. So anyway, Thor is number 3. Number 4 would be Cap. I love Cap because Captain America is a good guy.
It's Captain America.
He's Captain America. He's a good guy to be good. I also love Cap because a big part of his story is him as a person dealing with the fact that he has inspired the entire superhero community to be superheroes. And like, what weight is that on your shoulders that you always have to make the right...
he has to basically be the guy that leads... lead
everybody.
Lead by example.
You have to make everything cool. Let's see. Next up, I also love Wolverine. I think Wolverine is probably my favorite X-Man. That's not a hard jump to make. I would say Wolverine and Nightcrawler are pretty much tied. If you held a gun to my head and said choose Wolverine or Nightcrawler, I'd choose Wolverine. But I really do love Nightcrawler. I loved his stuff in the Chris Claremont runs in the 80s. Getting down to the last 5. Reed Richards of the Fantastic Four. I love Mr. Fantastic. I love Hank Pym, Ant-Man / Giant Man / Yellow Jacket.
That guy.
I love them both for the same reason, is they're always the smartest guys in the room that always make the wrong decisions. Doctor Strange, I love Doctor Strange. I love Hulk, and I love Benjamin Grimm, the ever-loving blue-eyed thing. Because, especially in Lego Marvel, when he shouts, it's fun because he keeps trying to say it, and people are like, no, not yet. And then when he finally gets to say it, Sue Storm is kind of like, what time is it, Ben? And he's like, you stole my line. It's clobbering time. And you're like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it's funny because you'll hear because I'm pretty early in the game. I've only got like the first 4 missions or so, and I've played a lot of Hulk, and it's always funny because they're like, no Hulk, it's not Smash time yet.
Yeah.
No Hulk Smash.
My favorite thing is like a lot of the times in the cutscenes you'll see like the 2 characters will be talking, and in the background Hulk will be pushing a broom, cleaning stuff up because they told Hulk, clean. Okay.
or the one where Tony Stark is talking to Nick Fury. And he's like, well, I've gone through about 10 keyboards with Hulk here. And then like they show Hulk and he's trying to use the computer and he just smashes it. And then he has to like pick it up and take it away.
Yeah.
Before Tony sees it. And he brings him a cup of coffee and Tony's just like, it's good. I like Lego Marvel. And it is, the characters kind of sound the same. And I can't tell if
they do a lot. They used a lot of the cartoon voices.
Yeah.
But
I can't tell if the guy that voices Coulson in this game is the guy
actually Coulson.
Okay. That's what it sounded like, but it was hard to tell.
Clark Gregg is all about being Agent Coulson. I feel
that's his whole life right now.
Well, he loves it, and he's always loved it. And I've heard him speak at conventions, and he talks about how grateful he is to Marvel Studios
to create a character just for him, basically.
Yeah, for taking what was essentially a one-off character. In the original Iron Man script, apparently Coulson's only purpose was to set up that Nick Fury,
all the other stuff.
Well, the Nick Fury cameo that no one knew was going to happen until the last day of filming, and everyone was very, cut off about it. But then once Coulson blew up in that first movie and people really started liking him, I think one of the guys at Marvel Studios says, we knew we were going to include Coulson in Iron Man 2 and in Thor when we showed up to Comic-Con the summer after Iron Man premiered, and we saw 8 people dressed as Coulson, not as S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, but they were Coulson.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, wow, we barely even named that guy in the movie.
He had a name, sort of.
His Agent
and Tony Stark makes the joke of his first name is Agent.
Yeah.
He's just, no.
Phil? No, it's Agent.
No, he's just Phil.
So he's the agent of Phil Coulson's voice in the cartoons and in the video games is Clark Gregg.
Well, that's good to know, because I couldn't tell. And obviously, like, they're not going to get Samuel L. Jackson.
No, but they got Chi McBride, who is the voice of Nick Fury in the cartoons.
In the cartoons, so
they didn't get Robert. They didn't get RDJ.
Well, they couldn't get him. And
they did get Adrian Pasdar, who's the voice in the cartoons.
Yeah. So and that's a good
Evans,
tie.
It's the voice in the cartoons.
That's a good. I don't want to say it's a good sell point, but it makes it more familiar to kids.
Well, yeah, and Marvel's operating on there's what they're calling their movie cinematic adult.
They've got the story for the guy, the big boys, universe. And then the story for the kids.
Well, no, adult universe, and the adult universe is like, if Tony Stark is in it, it is Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, they got the cartoons, which that's the kids stuff.
Yeah.
Which Marvel's always been really good at balancing those things out, because they've always had what is now called the Marvel Adventures line, and then they have the normal comic line.
Yeah. But I mean, just playing Lego Marvel, it's fun and it's good and silly. Like,
you don't need to be a super Marvel geek to get all these things.
No, and they make it fairly easy to understand. Like, okay, you're Spider-Man, you can jump around and swing, but for like guys like Hawkeye that don't get a lot of like big time, you understand right off. He's got his little bow and he's running around, so he shoots arrows all the time, and that's like his major thing.
Going around the map of New York, I've seen Squirrel Girl's icon. I haven't gotten to the part in the story, I guess, where I can start unlocking these things.
Yeah, because I can
see all their icons, but I can never find them.
And they're like, they must be specific side missions for these heroes. Is that what they are? Because I found one.
I don't know, but I really want to know because I found the Electro one the other day. I found the Wizard.
I found one for, I think it's the Moth, white hair, black little mask. I think it's the Moth. I don't know.
White hair, black mask.
She has white hair.
She has white hair.
And it has a little black mask, kind of like a Robin mask type of deal.
And it's a she?
I'm pretty sure it's a she. I ran past it. It was on my way from...
Is it Mockingbird, maybe?
I have no idea. I don't know. I see the little icons, too, and I can't tell who they are.
But the cool thing on the PS4 is that when you bring the map up, you can use the touchpad
to scroll around it.
So I can actually figure out where I am better.
Yeah.
And it just feels much better to do that than move it around with the sticks.
And I do like particularly with this incarnation, because I've never played one that has like the big open world.
See, they could be okay. So do they have a face?
Yeah, it has a face.
Okay, so it's not Moon Knight, and it's white
hair, and as far as I can tell, they're wearing a black suit.
A black suit?
I don't know who it is. Okay, I don't know the Marvel universe like
Black Cat.
Oh, okay, that might be it.
There we go. That's Black Cat.
But they have like all these little side missions, and they have like the icons, and I'm sitting there going, okay, well, I haven't unlocked that character yet.
Yeah.
I haven't unlocked that character yet. So I'm guessing they're specific, hero-specific side missions.
I like how, even in the few that I found, it shows that they really put thought into where they placed these things. Because Elektra is in the Hell's Kitchen. Hell's Kitchen, air quotes. Because it's not called Hell's Kitchen, obviously, it's a kid's game. But the Hell's Kitchen area, which is where she fits in the Marvel Universe. The Wizard, who is the purple bad guy for the Fantastic Four, is by the Baxter Building. The other one I found was, I don't know. But anyway, it shows that they put them in places where they belong.
Yeah. And I just running from, was it Oscorp or wherever it is that I started. It might have been Stark Tower. Running from Stark Tower to the raft, you run into like a dozen of them.
Yes.
And you just
Although
follow
I didn't run from Stark Tower to the raft. I flew.
Oh, I played Hulk. I like playing Hulk. Because Hulk just starts... galloping through the freaking streets.
Cutting through the city as Iron Man and going through the skyscrapers.
It's really cool.
Like, this is cool.
It is cool. I had a hard time figuring out... I had none of
the technical glitches that you talked about.
Yeah, because I had it lock up a couple times.
Yeah. I had no frame rate drops, no screen
I'm not worried
tearing.
about the frame rate or the screen tearing so much.
I think I have a lot more lighting effects than you do.
Well, you probably do because it's a PS4 version.
I know. But I'm saying, this is not... Lego Marvel Superheroes is not a game you buy to show off the power of the PS4.
No, it is not. Now, I mean, I will admit that they look really good, and the cutscenes look like, hey, it's a Pixar movie made out of Lego guys, and it makes me really excited for the Lego movie that's coming in next year. Or is it this year? The Lego movie? Does it come out this year or next year?
2014.
So it's next year sometime.
Yeah.
I don't know when. But, I mean, it is a fun little game, and it's like...
And it's good that the point I was making about them putting these things where they belong is that they've done it in such a way that it'll appeal to Marvel fans of any age.
Yeah, and it will.
The last one of these I played was Lego Lord of the Rings, where they used audio from the movies to tell the jokes. And since they can now have actual actors act out these jokes,
do the voice acting.
The script is crazy big. Like they were it got to a point where I felt like,
And they're not all just audio jokes or word jokes. They're actually like there's like visual gags.
there's visual gags and stuff like.
It's funny.
Like the AIM guys, I saw one AIM guy in the background of a cutscene like bump into another AIM guy, and then they had like adjusted their giant beekeeper helmets that the AIM people wear, and I was like, ah.
Yeah.
Like MODOK, here's a good example. MODOK shows up on AIM's underwater base, which is where he would be in the Marvel universe.
Yes. And then
MODOK.
is that the scene that you,
I'm gonna
you shared up on Facebook?
I'm gonna put you'll have a clip of the MODOK thing right now if I remember to put it in. And the cutscenes are funny, and then just the moment-to-moment Lego-ness of it is funny.
Yeah, and it's a really, really fun, really silly game, and I'm glad that I spent the what is it, like $50 for this game because
it
it's
was
not
$60 for me, but I got it for free.
Yeah,
it was one of those buy two get
one free off of Amazon deals.
Yeah.
But yeah, for like it's cheaper than a regular game, and you'll get more than your 10 hours, 15 hours.
One of the big giggle moments for me was the first time I played as Wolverine and he started dying. He strips down to a shiny skeleton Lego, and then slowly grows back.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I hadn't got that far yet.
If you keep getting hurt as Wolverine, he'll eventually, because there's little skeleton Lego characters.
Yeah,
right?
I get that.
It's a shiny metal one of those underneath him, but he can still move around and fight like normal, so you can basically keep going.
So Wolverine never dies because Wolverine never dies.
Well, and the Lego guys do like Robert Downey Jr.'s repulsor judo is what he called it. The little Iron Man guy will do it where it's like bam, bam, bam.
Yeah, that's how he does his little shots.
And Hulk will pick people up and slam them like they're Loki and stuff.
Yeah, he does. And then there's all those little throwbacks from the movies and the comics and stuff like that. It's like they took both worlds and kind of put them together in
a way that like cinematic Spider-Man can now be next to cinematic Captain America can be next to cinematic
that's
Wolverine.
one of the awesome things is you don't have all the BS of Sony owns Spider-Man and Fox owns these guys own Marvel, the Fantastic Four and X-Men and it's everybody is all in one big package
and you can make it like in a way that you haven't really ever been able to. You can make your Marvel Dream Team because unlike the Marvel Alliance games, this game has like
everybody.
Squirrel Girl and Howard the Duck and Moon Knight. And
really? Howard the Duck is in this?
I've seen clips with Howard the Duck. I don't know if it's one of those platform specific things, but I've seen clips with Howard the Duck in it. So it's one of those things like if you have a dream Marvel team, like your version of the Defenders is, I bet the Wizard isn't in this game, but if he's in this game, if he's in any game, he's in this game. So if you want the Wizard to be part of the Defenders,
and they had said during the development of this game that they were going way back into the catalog. Like they're gonna go and
like the minute Squirrel Girl shows up, I'm like,
done. Game of the year.
I was like, if you put Squirrel Girl in it, I know that like Luke Cage is in it, Jessica Jones is in it, like
all these characters that are like lost to the sands of time in Marvel.
Well, or they're just not your A rungs.
Yeah. They're not even B rungs.
Luke Cage's.
Either way, it is a fun little game. And my wife she likes playing it, except for
we've run into a very interesting problem with the dynamic split screen.
and it's really like it's hard for her to focus on her character when she's playing because it's so easy to swap characters.
Yeah.
So she may like hit triangle and switch and not know, okay, now I'm playing.
That's the one thing I haven't liked about this game is that in Lego Lord of the Rings, if you held down the triangle button, it brought up a ring with all the other Lego characters that you could select.
Yeah.
And then you used your right stick to select, I want to be Aragorn or Legolas or Bilbo or whatever.
Whoever would be available at this point during the story.
In this one, if you hold down triangle, sometimes it doesn't do anything. Sometimes it turns Hulk into Bruce Banner. Sometimes it turns Bruce Banner into Hulk. Sometimes
something happens.
But you can't get a menu so you can select who you want to select. So if you have a team that's
3 guys,
Thor and Iron Man and Spider-Man and Wolverine, and you need Spider-Man's power, sometimes you have to juggle quite a bit to get to Spider-Man.
Yeah, because I had that problem yesterday where I was playing and I had to cycle through because she was like, I can't play anymore. This is a pain in the ass.
If you need a person that can do the claw switches, you gotta go to the guy that does the claw switches.
You have to cycle to, and usually it's no more than 3 guys, 4 guys at a time.
So but the games are built in such a way that you're going to on the Fantastic Four level where I was playing all 4 Fantastic Four. To get through one of the stages, I had to do Mr. Fantastic's power,
and then you had to do this
Sue Storm's power, Invisible Woman's power, Thing's power,
and then
Mr. Fantastic's power, Human Torch's power, Invisible Woman's power, Human Torch's power. So there was a lot of juggling going on there. And during a lot of the boss fights, it gets really crazy. Like the one where I was fighting the Juggernaut, I was like, I have to be Beast now. Now I have to be Jean Grey.
Yep.
Now I have to be Storm.
Yep.
Like, yeah.
And you know, you get a little bit of that early on, but it is balanced in a way that you can do that, and there's enough time. Like when
And
you
it's
stun
Lego,
the guy,
so you don't die. Like,
yeah, you just keep your little minifig will blow up, and then it'll get back up in a
yeah,
second.
and it's like, so there's the challenge isn't there, but I'm amazed at the breadth,
The depth of the roster.
of not only the roster but the levels.
Oh yeah,
Like
some of
I
those
thought
levels
I'd
are
be
kinda
done
big.
by now.
Yeah, some of those levels are pretty huge.
There definitely seems to be a lot more in this game than there was in Lego Lord of the Rings.
Well, you also have like a true open world. I don't know how Lord
But
of the
Lego
Rings
Lord of the
was.
Rings had a true open world.
But I mean, like with this one, it is a big city, and you have all these heroes and
Yeah,
all
Lego
these
Lord of
little
the
side
Rings, you
missions
could
can
walk
do.
from Bag End all the way to
Mordor. But
but it wasn't as dense as this is.
because you're talking about New York.
Yeah.
And I love how.
And
I
a
love
lot
how-
of that was, they wanted, because a lot of Lord of the Rings is walking, so they wanted to kind of simulate that.
Yeah. And I like how like Stan Lee shows up all the time.
Oh, I love
in
it,
this.
Stan Lee
You just
shows
have
up.
your little Stan Lee minifig flying down the
The other day
trash
I
chute
was
with
I was
everybody else.
broadcasting, and if you get all their beads put together, it says True Believer.
The mini studs. Yeah.
The mini studs, it says True Believer, and then you hear Stan go, Excelsior! So I got them all, and I was like, Excelsior! And someone on the stream was like, you idiot. And I was like, I know.
You dumbass.
I was like, but to me, like, one of the things is on the PS4, when you select the game and you're in its like sub menu where you can see all its downloadable content, wonderful
Yeah,
stuff, and all the other people that you know that are playing it and all this other stuff and the trophies you've got, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
yeah.
It plays the mighty Marvel marching band theme. You belong to the mighty Marvel marching. And you're like, as a comic nerd, to me, that was like,
Wow.
because you know, a kid, this game is based for kids. A kid nowadays has no effing clue what that is.
No.
Like that was before I was born, where they were all part of the mighty Marvel marching.
I have no idea. I don't know what you're talking
I think it
about.
was Guild. Anyway,
No clue. So if you love Marvel and you love Lego games, this
well,
is
this
the
seems to
game
be
for
the
you.
best Lego game yet.
And you know what? TT keeps bringing out more Lego games, and those games are just getting better.
I think they just
Like,
said that,
when you
that
look
Lego,
at-
what was it? Lego City Undercover was the really cool one on the Wii U.
Yeah.
I think they were like, we just made our Grand Theft Auto Lego game. Now what we're going to do is take everything we learned from that, everything we learned from the DC Universe game, slam them together, make Lego New York and Marvel, and it will be the best thing ever.
Lego GTA. That would be the craziest. No,
That's what the
no.
last game
Straight up
was.
a licensed Lego GTA
no.
game. That would be awesome, except they would never make
I mean,
that.
you can totally hijack cars in Lego Marvel. You didn't know that?
I haven't got that far.
Yeah, you
the
can
only
run up
time
next to a car and hit triangle, and you kick everyone out of it, and they're like, man,
Sorry,
Hawk
I'm
Dude
commandeering this."
sucks. I don't think they say sucks. That's the thing. When you're running around the world, everyone keeps forgetting what you're called. So they're like, it's that dude, Colonel States, or
Yeah. Well, I think
everyone
that
was
might
like-
that part of that might just be because they can't. I mean, maybe they could make sound clips for all of the superheroes.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
But
But like, if you're running around as Captain America, they're like, it's that dude, Colonel States. And if you're running around as Hawkeye, they're like, hey, it's Eagle Dude.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, it's funny for Hawkeye because he's like, no, Hawkeye. Yeah, Hawkeye. Yeah, Eagle Dude. No, Hawkeye. Like,
Yeah.
my name is Hawkeye.
it's funny, and they have their little one-liners when you're standing around and whatever. It's fun.
My favorite
I like
thing
that
is I
game.
got a trophy for making Mr. Fantastic turn into a teapot.
Yeah, I got that too, and I don't know how.
If you hold down circle long enough and you just does
just
it.
turns into a teapot. Oh.
I got one. I got a similar one for doing something with the thing.
Yeah. So I mean, it is a fun game, regardless of whether or not you care about open world games or Marvel games or Lego games. It is a fun game. So if you
Yeah.
were just looking for something to tide you over, if you were like me and you don't have a PS4
Yeah.
or an Xbox One and you just want to play some game a lot, you can play this game a lot because there's
Yeah.
a ton of content there.
Like my
and
thing
it is fun
if you
and
want a
funny
game to play with your family, like let's say
Yeah, if
really
you have
like
little
GTA,
kids,
but you don't want to play it when your mom's around,
or your kids are around.
you want something to bust out at the Christmas party, Lego Marvel
or SingStar
or SingStar
or
Playroom
or
like,
Just Dance 14 or whatever the hell it is.
yeah, which Just Dance. I thought about buying that because it has the Ghostbusters theme.
Really?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Um,
That would be weird.
So anyway, like if you know the holidays are coming up and you're gonna have time off school, you're gonna have time off work.
Yep.
Your in-laws are coming in town. You know your little cousins are staying over. Rent Lego Marvel.
Lego Marvel. It's a good way. Yeah, I'll buy a Lego Marvel. You play it for a couple hours, you're not going to want to give it back.
Yeah. The good thing, you know, with Disney buying Marvel Studios has been they have gotten down, especially walking out of Thor: The Dark World. Like this is all family entertainment. Like yeah, they're PG-13, but I could totally see you bringing a younger kid to that.
A 10 or an 8 or 9 year old.
Like I remember when I went to the midnight premiere for Avengers, there was a mom there that had an Iron Man black Iron Man shirt on. I didn't know she was a mom. She was a really cute lady at first. She had an Iron Man shirt on.
She was kind of young looking, right?
Kind of like young looking with the glowy arc reactor. And she was like, "Okay, now come on." And behind her, each with their popcorn and jug of cola, was a mini Thor, a mini Captain America, and a mini Hulk.
Oh.
And that was her kids. And I was like, that's it. That is why Disney bought Marvel.
Yep.
So
that is definitely why
if
Disney
you
bought
have those
Marvel.
people in your family, man, Lego Marvel till the end of the day, end of time.
That'll be a great way for, like, especially with Thanksgiving.
Like if I
this
had
week,
kids right now,
last week,
if I had kids right now, or my
late.
brother's kids were in town, or whatever, or my cousins had kids, or whatever, and I was like, and I knew they were into Marvel, I would be like, this is...
And you needed some quiet time.
They really wanted, like, they were like, we really liked that movie, that Thor movie, we really liked Avengers, like, here, we'll put this in, and they're like, who's Moon Knight? Oh, Moon Knight. Moon Knight is blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, and then you could just totally...
Because we don't have collecting cards that much anymore. Like,
No,
when
we
you
don't.
and I were kids, we had collecting cards. I had a fat stack of the Fleer Marvel cards and the Skybox Marvel cards, and I would be like, oh, Loki is. And that's how I learned who Loki was.
Yeah, yeah.
Because when I was, the target audience for Lego Marvel, Lego
Marvel didn't exist.
Yeah, and I didn't have long boxes full of comics. That's the other thing. Every time we go through Target, my wife gets mad because I'll be in the Lego aisle and she'll be like,
No.
It's Lego Bag End for only $80. It's Lego The Daily Bugle. I could put them together, and it's...
Oh, I've got a Lego Lord of the Rings set sitting on top of my entertainment center in the office. And
You lucky SOB.
it was hers. She bought it.
I'm sure if my wife didn't know, and I just had if someone gave me someone gave my wife and I like a $200 gift card
to like Target or
to
something.
Target, and they were like, Andy, you cannot buy video games with it. I'd be like, no problem, dude.
Legos.
Legos.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff. I like a lot of the Lego games in general. Like they're
Yes.
just fun and they're not super violent. I mean, yeah, you're punching dudes,
Yeah,
but
but
you're
you
punching
can still
punching
get-
Lego dudes. It's not
They're
like,
violent in the way that Mario is violent in the way that...
I think it's called like animated cartoon violence. I think is what it's called on
and the way that
ESRB
Ratchet
thing.
and Clank is violent.
Yeah.
So you can really, and in the way that the Marvel movies are violent. Like, yeah,
Not supposed to
I thought
punch
about it the
people.
other day. Like, yeah, Captain America uses a gun in Avengers and in Captain America the first.
But he
Avenger,
only uses it as a last resort.
but only like sparingly. Like
Yeah.
the cool moments are him throwing his shield
Yeah,
or
yeah.
like doing that whole like, I need you in this building, you in that
Yeah,
building,
yeah.
blah, blah, blah. So it's never the forefront. Whereas like, compare that with something like
Rambo.
Commando or Rambo, and it's all it is the gun, or Punisher.
Yeah.
Iron Man fights people that use guns. He doesn't use a gun,
Yeah.
except for Rhodey.
Well, Rhodey's War Machine though, so
Yeah.
it's okay. It's okay. He's War Machine.
That's the one thing I can't wait to get the War Machine minifig. There's a level where you're going through Stark Tower and then you see all the armors on the background. And he does. Lego Stark gets the Mark 42 armor, which is the
The one that comes apart and comes.
what the Extremis armor in the comic books, but it's called the Poly something in the movies. Anyway, and as it's coming at him, he's doing all the flips and everything from the movie, and the mask starts coming at him. He goes. And he stops because it's coming out upside down. And he does the flip to get on it, and then it lands in the three-point land. And I'm like,
Well, he does the 3-point land all the time.
Oh, yeah,
like
he
whenever
does.
he hits the ground,
Well,
like
yeah,
if
but
you're
that's-
flying and stop, he just lands.
that's
that way.
superheroes.
Yeah.
Cap always does the land on the shield and look up, and Spider-Man always lands with the arm out.
Yeah.
I love how the Spider-Man character moves, because it moves in a way that a Lego character shouldn't move, but he does it constantly to make it like...
Because that's
he
how
moves
Spider-Man
like
moves.
Spider-Man moves. Like, that's
Yeah.
the same with Mr. Fantastic. He fights and gets all stretchy because he's Mr. Fantastic.
That's right.
So definitely pick it up.
It is
And
a
if
great
you-
game.
If you are looking for something to play with your family, with younger kids, older kids, the adults in the room can play. If you have, maybe your uncle or God, this is really old now. Maybe your grandpa was really into Marvel Comics.
When he was,
Since they've been around that long. You know, you can all, there's something there for every single one of you. You know, the one thing I'm pretty sure isn't in this game that I really wish was, is there's definitely not a Conan minifig.
No, but I'm pretty sure there is a Carnage minifig.
Yeah, there is a Carnage minifig.
Because I found one of his side missions.
Yeah, I found a
was like,
Carnage
wait a
side
minute.
mission, I found a Avengers side mission. That's the one thing, like,
Carnage
side mission. Ooh,
How does that go?
Kids game. I bet it's you trying to defeat Carnage, probably.
Yeah. Well, unless you need to be Carnage to do the missions.
Well,
like I don't know how all that stuff works, but it's really cool.
But with things
it is a very
like the
fun
Wizard
game.
in there, I've seen the Red Ghost in there. They're definitely pulling from far enough back in the Marvel catalog, and with things like Squirrel Girl in there, deep enough into the weirder Marvel catalog, and then you see the 3 pages of nothing but minifig dots.
Yeah,
and
they're
then
just
multiple
question mark,
costumes
question mark.
a bunch of the minifigs have multiple costumes. You're like, wow. Like
They're
I bet
big and
you
deep.
somewhere in this game there is a Scarlet Spider-Man costume.
I bet there is.
Everyone will have fun with it. Everyone will enjoy it.
Yep.
And it's funny, and it's funny, and it's shallow enough that if you don't know anything about Marvel, you haven't even seen the Avengers movie, you don't know who these people are, you'll still have fun with it.
Yeah, you will. You will enjoy.
Because a lot of the
this game.
jokes ring funny just because it's, oh, look at that big funny green guy pushing a broom.
Yeah. So it's a good game, and I'm glad I spent $50 on it.
We can both heartily recommend it. It won't. We're dedicating the show to it because it probably won't be either of our game of the year.
No.
But it is definitely a game that came out this year that you should play.
Yes.
Especially before the holidays. Don't forget to spay and neuter your Pokemon. Even the Lego that would do that.
Lego Pokemon?
That would be the end-all, be-all. Like, get Nintendo and Warner Brothers on that game.
Cut this out, and we will send our pitch of Lego Pokemon to Nintendo.
Anyway, don't forget to spay and neuter your Lego Pokemon, and we'll see you next week.